demography. We are talking on the topic of demography, population change, and management. First of all, demography. Demography, the word demography is made by combining two words. One, demos, and another, graphia.
Graphy.
Graphia.
Demos, that is people. Graphia, what?
Study.
Graphia, story.
Meaning of
The So that's why demography is the scientific study of human population. Okay? Demography is the scientific study of human population. We can define with the help of these two words, demos and graphia. Demos and graphia.
graphia.
Demos means population,
People
graphia means story.
study.
So the process of studying about human population is known as demography.
Demography.
Okay? And the Latin word demos is demos, and the Latin word demos and graphia are firstly used by the Ashley Glad. Okay. Ashley Glad is the first person to use the term demography. Okay, so you can point out in your book as well. So Ashley Glad is the first person to use the term demography, and especially he used this term demography in 1855. Okay, in 1855, Achille Clare used this term demography in his book. In his book, Element of Human Statistics or Comparative Demography. Okay, that's he firstly used the term demography in his book, Elements of Human Statistics or Comparative Demography. Firstly. And after that, the John Grant is the first person who examined the trend of mortality and fertility from the death record maintained by the churches in London in his famous book Natural and Political Observation made upon the bills of mortality in 1960 to 80. Firstly, John Grant. So, John Grant is known as the father of what? Father of demography. Who is known as the father of demography? Right?
Zone.
John Grant is the father of demography because he is the first person who examined the trend of mortality and fertility from the death record maintained by the churches in London. That's why he is known as what? Father of demography.
Dem-
The credit or the sole credit for initiating population studies goes to him. That's why the sole credit goes to John Grant. Of population goes to John Grant, and he examined the trend of mortality from the churches in London. And in his famous book, the name of book is Natural and Political Observation made upon the bills of mortality. This is the name of book. Okay, and he used this term in He examined this trend in 1662 AD. 1662 उनले के अरे स्विस सम्बर सन् 1662 उनले के गरेका थिए यो टर्म जुन यो ट्रेन डेथ बर्थ र यो डेथ बर्थको रिकर्ड त्यो चाहिँ उनले के गरेका हुन् युज 1662 1662 मा परेका नाउ हु इज द फादर अफ डेमोग्राफी
John
Green.
John Grant
Grant.
and who uses the term demography
Gillard.
yeah Chill Glard. Okay, so in 1855 AD the name of book element of human statics or comparative democracy. Okay, the Greek word demos carries the meaning people and graphia meaning to story. Demography can be defined as the statistical and scientific study of population, size, composition, distribution, and change trend. Now we can tell the demography is the statistical study or scientific study of population change, right? Population composition, population size, and population distribution. Can you define demography now?
Yes, sir.
Demography, जनसंख्या, population, जनसंख्या, demography, जनसांख्यिकी. That means the process of study of human population. मानव जातिको अध्ययन गर्ने, मानव जातिको अर्थात् यो जुन जनसंख्या परिवर्तन भयो हैन, जनसंख्याको आकार प्रकारको बारेमा हैन, जनसंख्याको यो कम्पोजिसन बनावटको बारेमा अध्ययन विस्तृत यसलाई के भन्छ स्ट्याटिकल स्टडी तथ्याङ्कीय अध्ययन गर्ने शास्त्रलाई के भनिन्छ डेमोग्राफी भनिन्छ. That's right. So this is the definition of demography. Then demographic components, process and measures. How demography can be measured? How what are the components of demography? Can you tell me the components of demography?
Migration, birth, death, migration, and
Especially
migration.
there are three famous components of demography. Number one, birth, death, and migration. How that's birth is also known as fertility, right? And death, mortality, and migration. They can be measured with different measurement. Like birth or fertility can be measured with CBR, crude birth rate, GFR, growth fertility rate, ASFR, age specific fertility rate, and TFR, total fertility rate. And similarly, death can be measured with, or mortality can be measured with CDR, acute death rate, ASMR, that is age specific death rate, and IMR, that is infant mortality rate, right? Infant mortality rate. And next one is CMR, that is child mortality rate, right? And so similarly, next one is migration rate, IMR, that is in migration rate, OMR, out migration rate, NMR, net migration rate, and GMR, gross migration rate can be measured. This can be measured with the help of these measurements. Now let's see on the screen. See here the introduction of demography. See, demography is the statistical study of populations, especially human beings. Demographic analysis can cover whole societies or group defined by criteria such as education, nationality, religion, and ethnicity. And Glirard is the first person to use the term demography. He used the term demography in 1855 AD in his book Element of Human Static or Comparative Demography. By combining the two words, demos means people and graphia means to study. Okay, there is to study. And similarly, John Grant, the father of demography, is the first person who examined the trend of mortality and fertility from the death record maintained by the churches in London in his famous book Natural and Political Observation made upon the bills of mortality in 1662 AD. Now you can copy it, note down, okay? Finish.
Sir, done.
सर त्यो मोर्टेलिटी इन्टु डेट भन्नु न डेटै गरेर खाना लास्टको
Sir, not finished पहिलाको.
Do fast. Still writing? Okay, do first. Yes. So these are the demographic components. Okay, birth, aging, death or death, and migration. These are quantitative study of human population. Okay, so nothing here. See demographic components: birth, death, and migration. See, birth increase the number of population, and death decrease the number of population. In migration, increase the number of population within a place or area. Out migration, decrease the number of population within a certain place or area. And the size of population is determined by the demographic components. Okay, so these are the demographic components, and on the size, that's yeah. Size, composition, distribution, and change are measured with the help of these components. Okay, birth, death, and migration. Migration may be two types: in migration and out migration. Okay, so you can copy it. Okay. If you finish, then this much for today. Okay. Today's class will read up here, and we'll talk more about these components, process, and the rest in our next class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you for your participation.
Bye, sir.
Bye bye, sir.
Bye. Bye, everyone.